sworn enemies. How dare you do their bidding?
Don't even think about it, ladies.
10 forgotten but great comic book-based cartoons. We live in an era where people usually go gaga over movie adaptations of comic books. This current trend has provided us with some timeless classics, but we still feel that the best recreation of comic books comes in an animated form. In the case of a cartoon adaptation of a comic book, not only can the storyline be recreated, but even the artwork from the memorable comic books can be preserved. The likes of DC, Marvel, and Image Comics have a great wealth of storylines, many of which have been captured in the form of very engaging cartoon shows.
Sorry, gang. The name's not Guinea Pig Man, it's Spider-Man.
From the hyperactive and positive atmospheres to the dark and sinister plots we have seen in all of these cartoon shows. In this video, we will take a quick look at some of these forgotten cartoon series that carefully preserved the authenticity and brilliance of the comic books that preceded them.
Before we go into our list, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click from you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's begin.
Are you?
Spawn, the animated series. Mercenary Al Simmons, played by Keith David, returns to Earth 5 years after his death, having made a deal with one of the Lords of Hell, Malbolgia, who never appears on screen. Under the conditions of his deal, his mind is broken into fragments with missing memories, and his form is rotten and burned beneath his garb as Malbolgia's spawn. Now, Al wanders Skid Row, tormented by the knowledge his wife is now married to his best friend, and now he finds himself at the center of power struggles of heaven, hell, the criminal, underworld, and his former superiors.
Stay back!
You don't want to do that.
Todd McFarlane's genius is written all over this mature animated series that aired on HBO in the late-night slots. For those who think shows like Gargoyles and Batman, the animated series, was dark and dealt with adult subject matters, Spawn makes the likes of Gargoyles and Batman, the animated series, look like a children's cartoon. You will witness some of the most morbid moments that you can imagine, including bodies being torn apart and blood flowing like a river. Even the sexual content is pretty extreme, and the deep, dark philosophies about heaven and hell are certainly meant for a mature audience to comprehend. The animation was remarkable, and the stunning storyline even got Spawn 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. Besides the bold creation of Todd McFarlane and the fascinating journey of the protagonist that will keep you hooked, the voice acting is the icing on the cake.
And believe me, it won't be as pleasant as the visit I paid your hired cyborg.
Keith David as the protagonist is just perfect for the role, and the production team gives it everything to make Spawn a great memory for us. You didn't watch it when it aired? Well, there is good news for you because you can watch the episodes online on HBO even today.
I hope you're ready for your date with death.
Cyber 6. It's quite unusual for an Argentinian comic book that was never published in English to find takers in English and Japanese. Cyber 6 is an exceptional case in comic book history where TMS and NOA come together to develop an animated production that could target a wide audience base. The story is about a genetically engineered superhero named Cyber 6, who was a literature teacher in high school during the day and fought deadly bioweapons at night. Her creator was an evil Nazi SS doctor with some sinister plans, and only Cyber 6 could be a potential threat to him. The 13-episode run was marked by the stark difference in the content of Cyber 6 than anything else that you would see back in the 90s.
I feel sorry for you.
One of the first things that the makers had to contend with was the adult element that they had to tone down significantly. The stellar presentation will put a smile on your face, and the engrossing storyline wouldn't let you look away.
How are you, brother?
Most Western audiences were a stranger to the original stories, and they waited patiently for the backstory of the protagonist to unfold. Her vendetta against her evil creator, the multi-layered mythology of this series, and her interesting vulnerabilities made the visual storytelling style all the more appealing. Cyber 6 had to kill other creations of her creator in order to stay alive, and this promised some edge of the C.A.T. moments. This entry might be a tad obscure, but it certainly deserves a place amongst the others on this list. Spider-Man Unlimited 1999 through 2005. John Jameson is on a one-man mission to another world named Counter-Earth, located on the far side of the sun. Venom and Carnage try getting into the space shuttle, and Spider-Man tries to stop them.
Sorry, Redhead, but this flight's booked. Nothing's going to stop us from reaching Counter-Earth and the Synoptic.
However, when all contact with Jameson is lost, media and people start blaming Spider-Man for it.
Hey, wait a second. It isn't my fault. I was only trying to help.
Later, when Jameson sends a distress signal from Counter-Earth, Spider-Man borrows some high-tech gadgets and suits up to help Jameson fight the evil Bestials, who are the dominant species over there. Spider-Man Unlimited is a sequel or continuation from where the previous Spider-Man cartoon had left off. One of the best things about this series would have to be the high-tech boost that Spider-Man receives. The stealth mode, a special costume with web shooters, and many other tricks make him quite a handful for the enemy.
And now, here's a brand new sound for you and your partner in slime. Sonic's on!
There are some changes to the basics of Spider-Man stories that you will quite enjoy. For instance, Green Goblin here is one of the rebels fighting the Bestials, and you will be left wondering when he turned good. The animation quality was quite impressive, and everything about the show suggests that it deserved a longer run than merely 13 episodes that it got. In fact, a second season was set to be animated, but the popularity of Pokemon and Digimon drew curtains for the project. We were left on a cliffhanger, but we must admit that this new twisted take on Spider-Man was quite exciting for us.
In this future world, in this dying city, with the fate of the Earth and all humanity in the balance, the Phantom is there.
Phantom 2040. The Phantom is one of the pioneers in the world of superheroes, and this iconic creation by Lee Falk dates back to 1936. The mid-90s animated series titled Phantom 2040 takes a look at this superhero, and Peter Chung, who worked his magic in Aeon Flux, was in charge of the character designs. The plot centered around the 24th Phantom, keeping in line with the legacy of heroes passing on the mantle from father to son for hundreds of years. The story is premised in the futuristic war-ravaged 21st century where people fight for resources and only the wealthy manage to thrive. This animated series was like putting out a classic 1920 Cadillac and fitting it with the best of modern technology.
Aim. Lock. Fire. No, wait!
The futuristic update in Phantom 2040 drew the interest of New Age viewers, and the writers Garfield Reeves Stevens and Judith did a great job of introducing some surprising twists in the tale. The character development of Kit Walker Jr., who takes up the role of Phantom although he was initially reluctant, is fascinating to watch. His fight against the evil corporation Maximum Inc. was a cliffhanger that would get people to watch this without batting an eyelid. The serialized storylines help the viewer, and in more ways than one, Phantom 2040 stands out as an exceptional series that could have well been a live-action series. The voice acting deserves a special mention and is almost as good as Batman the Animated Series. It's unfortunate that after 2 seasons, the series didn't get an extension, but this unsung classic deserves a bow for the stylish and tightly plotted presentation. Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes, 2006 through 2010. It's not often that a cartoon series following a successful movie manages to triumph the latter in terms of content. Fantastic Four, the animated series, was a surprising exception and was based on the movie universe consisting of the 2 movies in 2005 and 2007. This version tells its own version of the origin of the superheroes, and they are back with their quirky superpowers. The superheroes have some invincible villains to take down, and you will see the likes of Annihilus, Mole Man, the Skrulls, Prince Namor, the Kree, the Puppet Master, Terminus, the Frightful Four, Von Doom, and many others, putting the Fantastic Four up for a tough test.
Doom, you forged the journal.
Of course. And now there's no one here to save you.
The animation style was a revelation, and it was a terrific idea to combine 2-dimensional art with 3-dimensional computer animation. The cameos from other superheroes were fun to watch, and we saw Ant-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk, and even She-Hulk in the mix of things occasionally. We loved the times when the Hulk and the Thing had a brawl, and when Tony Stark matched the arrogance and brilliance of Reed Richards. The writing for this series was spot on, and they cleverly managed to blend the dangers and action with mild humor. It deserved much more than just 1 season and 26 episodes, and for us, it remains the best animated version of Fantastic Four ever made. Men in Black, the series, 1997 through 2001. The Men in Black animated series was done as a plot set in an alternate timeline to the Men in Black movie series. The live-action movies are probably the most popular, and many tend to forget that it all started with the unparalleled comic book series by Lowell Cunningham. The story is about a team of specially trained agents who handle all forms of paranormal and alien activities on Earth. They had some terrifying adversaries that promise some old-fashioned fights to keep the audience on the edge of their seats. In the animated series version, you will see Agent J still functioning as a rookie, contrary to the movies, and Agent K has not retired. As we have said already, the series took an alternate timeline than what it is seen in the movies, and mostly there were standalone episodes dealing with the adventures of the agents. Those who are acquainted with the comic books will have a fair idea about how the dark and mature version has been diluted for the movies and the animated series. The makers wanted to appeal to fans across all age groups, and the animated series was actually made to be appropriate for children as well. So, you would expect the MIB were not executing witnesses or doing anything too morbid. We see Agent J and K keeping up their cool quotient with some cutting-edge technology. The series promises a lot of entertainment as the heroes use the best of their powers to maintain order on Earth. The sci-fi nature of this engaging, action-packed series spanning 4 seasons and 53 episodes remains close to our heart even today.
Now surrender, hopping boy, or this charming young chippy is added to my score. You killed my hostage. You killed my hostage. You killed my hostage!
The Max. When Sam Keith first created the Max for Image Comics, little did he know that the storyline would find so many takers in the future. We have a gripping narrative where the protagonist is a homeless vagrant who often takes shelter in cardboard boxes. His misadventures in the harsh world form the crux of the tale.
It's me!
Yes, and sometimes it's us. All right, everybody, freeze!
Damn, I was talking out loud again.
But things take a serious turn when it moves to the backstories about a serial rapist named Mr. Gone. The Max starts protecting one of his targets, but Mr. Gon tries killing him. There are mysterious entities like the spirit animals, the eyeless, and a predatory is to grab your attention. One of the best things about the animated series was that it stayed true to the original version. The visual style, which is more of a culmination of various schools of animation, is eye-catching, and it includes everything from live action to more traditional styles of animation. There were only 13 episodes, and at times, it couldn't do justice to the broad world of the comic book. We would have loved it better if the backstories could have been explored better, but the short runtime didn't allow makers such luxuries. However, even with such shortcomings, The Max is one of the cult classics that has a significant fan following. It used to air on MTV's Liquid Television, and they had a target audience comprising of mostly adults.
Get out of this car at once and finish him!
As of now, you can watch it at MTV Classics, and we promise you, it will be time well spent. Savage Dragon. A rather mysterious green-skinned humanoid wakes up in a burning field, and as you would expect, he suffers from amnesia following the trauma. Now, he fights crime and deadly mutants in Chicago along with his partner in the police department. The many adventures and kick-ass fights push the narrative further, and it was a welcoming change back in the day to see a superhero work among the usual human environment with somewhat regular powers.
Everything!
I think not. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
For comic book fans, Savage Dragon was a massive hit the moment it came out in the 80s. This fantastic world created by Eric Larson was soon adapted for an animated series in the 90s, and Larson remained in charge of the artwork and stories. It's a refreshing and innovative approach that won over the people who enjoyed the animated show. The show had a run for 26 episodes, and the brisk narrative was appreciated by the viewers. The production quality showed in the visual brilliance that left even the harshest critics impressed. We also loved the voice acting talent that was associated with this project. The likes of Jim Cummings, Jeff Bennett, Tony Jay, and the others did an amazing job of bringing fictional characters to life. If you are in the mood for an unabashed, savage series, this can be a fun watch.
Amandala.
Marvel Knights Animation, Black Panther. The storyline aims to explain the mysticism of the Black Panther and his land of Wakanda. It gracefully symbolizes most Atlantis-type civilizations, and the plot is more focused on the aspects of colonialism and exploitations of Africa than the growth and development of Wakanda. It certainly aimed to capture the fantasies of children and young minds, and the presentation was definitely planned, keeping them in mind. The makers obviously sidestepped issues like apartheid and blatant Western exploitation of Africa, but it does include minor instances of violence.
Ready for you!
For a series that sets itself apart so distinctly from other superhero cartoons, this was excellently done. We found the art style to be a different approach than the typical style that we see more often. However, the strong storytelling and placement of Black Panther in the Marvel Universe was spectacular. What stands out most in this classic story is not Black Panther himself, but the civilization and people of Wakanda. It celebrates maintaining cultural heritage while also developing advanced technology. This is the dream of many people who have been separated from their home, to have never been separated and stood strong in the midst of oncoming assaults, even if the charge is led by Captain America. The only flaw was that it had only 6 episodes, because we would have loved a lot more from this gem of a series that literally ended on a cliffhanger. Wildcats. Two prehistoric alien races are embroiled in a brutal conflict that involves the Earth for thousands of years. On one side is the heroic cherubim, while the opposition is from the evil Daemonites. The Daemonites are reptilian-looking aliens who can even possess their host and control their actions. The cherubims, on the other hand, are warriors who have fought them for ages.
Boy did it!
One of the highlights for Wildcats would have to be the stunning character designs. At the helm of things was the talented Jim Lee, who left the popular X-Men title to work on this series. In many ways, this outdid the X-Men series in terms of content and style. CBS picked up Wildcats for their Action Zone block of Saturday morning cartoons, and the ploy seemed to work just fine with these 13 episodes. The well-developed characters suit the storyline perfectly, and the animation seems to work just fine.
Over, Wildcats! You have lost!
We were particularly in love with Warblade and Grifter. The series contained everything from gripping fights, explosions, big thrills, and big bosoms. Sometimes the content strays from the comic book source, but we aren't complaining.
Does it? Bad move, buddy.
And anger is the worst of your weaknesses.
There are moments when you feel that the budgetary constraints restricted a few scenes, but overall, it's a must-watch animated series. If you guys enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, and press that bell icon that will help you get notifications. We upload an awesome video every day. Have an amazing day ahead and stay safe.
Take them out, team.
2 men against 1 woman? No fair. You should have brought more men.